Today we continue our sermon series called Shine. It is inspired by our stained glass window. And so I was thinking about stained glass windows. I was thinking about different stained glass windows that I've encountered in different places. And the one that came to mind was the stained glass window that is in Coventry Cathedral in England. Ed and I had a chance to go to Coventry Cathedral back in 2010. We were with a group of folk that were doing all the Wesley sites throughout England, which is a spectacular trip. If you ever get to do that, it is absolutely wonderful. So Coventry Cathedral was destroyed by several bombs during World War II. And so next to the modern cathedral is the ruin. They left the ruin, and it's full of sculptural art. They still do worship services in the ruin, and there is this walkway that connects the ruin to the modern cathedral. So here's a picture of the inside of the main sanctuary in Coventry, Coventry Cathedral. And so as you walk in, you can see the people. They look tiny. Right? They look like tiny little ants in this picture. And it has this gigantic, beautiful vaulted ceiling. You can see that in the picture. And way down near the front is this amazing tapestry of the risen Christ. And to your right, as you walk in, is the baptismal window. The baptismal window is 85 feet tall. It is it's over 7.5 stories tall. It is 56 feet across. And it was designed to look like a bomb had gone off in the middle of the window. You know, you can see this tremendous burst of light that's there in the middle of the window. And instead of boom, there is destruction. It is boom, let there be light. Let there be creation. Let there be new life. This close-up of the window, every square, or rectangle I should say, and there are 195 of them, was hand-painted in this beautiful explosion of color and of light. And I saw this window in person over a decade ago, and yet the experience of being with this window has stayed with me. I can't tell you how often I think about it. It's called the baptismal window because at the very bottom of the window, on the floor level, there is a boulder. And the boulder is from Bethlehem, and that's where they do their baptisms, using this boulder from Bethlehem. It's absolutely spectacular, this symbol and the beauty and the color, and it all just stays with you. God didn't have to make beauty and color. Is it really needed, right? Everything could be a single color. It could be clear, right? Could be transparent. All the flowers, all the fruit, all the people, everything. Everything could smell like nothing, right? No scent. Everything could sound like nothing. Everything could taste like chicken, right? God did not have to make this variety and this beauty. God could have been utilitarian. But the beauty and the color and the smells and the sights and the sounds, all of that tell us God is not utilitarian. God is not destructive. God is creative. And we follow God's lead. We create. How many of you have a job that has an element of creativity to it? How many of you have a hobby with an element of creativity to it? Our churches Our churches don't need vaulted ceilings and stained glass and flowers and, incense and bells and music. We don't need that. But we take after God's lead of beauty and color and creativity. And it says this place is different. It says this place is sanctuary. It's a little taste of heaven, of how things could be and how things will be. Creativity and beauty and color. There is a Greek word, and I do not speak Greek. I have to sound everything out, and it's theaomi. Actually, theaomai. One more time. Theaomai. Theaomai. Let's try it. Theaomai. Theaomai. And it means behold. So behold the glory of the Lord. Theaomai, the glory of the Lord. Behold, behold, behold. And it's tied to the word wonder. How many of us have been out somewhere and we notice something beautiful or colorful and we theaomai, we wonder, we behold, we are in awe of this beauty. Maybe it's been a piece of art, maybe it's been a building, maybe it's been something in nature, maybe it's been a person. Theaomai, we wonder, we behold, there is beauty. It ties us to God. God is not utilitarian. God is not destructive. God is creative. And so we see the goodness of God through the creation. Our buildings do not have to be beautiful, and yet they are, because they remind us of God. And so we don't glance, we gaze at the beauty. We wonder at the beauty, and it transcends us. And so take a moment and focus on the window here in the sanctuary, and we'll put a picture up for the folks who are online. And take a moment to look at the colors in the window. Take a moment to look at the colors, and what do they remind you of? Go ahead, shout it out really loud, write it in the chat. What do the colors remind you of? Beauty? People? Flowers? Okay. Water? Peace? Right? Someone at the first service said a kaleidoscope. I went, wow, that's lovely. There's a beautiful passage in Zechariah which says, the people of God are the jewels in God's crown. Maybe you see jewels, right? Beautiful jewels. There's a person who shall remain nameless who likes to count the number of red sections, squares, rectangles in the window. And so now all of you are counting the number of red sections in the window. It changes depending on the time of day and how close you are or how far you are away. But there is something amazing about the artist who designed our window deciding to use all colors. It is a rainbow of color, right? Rainbow, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, they're all there. And so maybe when you look at the window, you see rainbow, right? Rainbow reminds us of the story in Genesis 9 of the rainbow with Noah. And so in Genesis 9, beginning at verse 8, then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, as for me, I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the domestic animals, and every animal of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. I establish my covenant with you that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters by a flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. God said, "This is a sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations." Look at the breadth of this covenant, right? "I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh." This beautiful covenant promise. So often we think rainbow, right? And maybe you see a rainbow and you go, "Oh, there's a rainbow," right? Theaomai, behold, a rainbow. But so often we think of rainbows as cute and sweet, and we put them in baby nurseries. But this softens the depth of this covenant promise. This is a covenant promise for all creation, for all the ages. I have set my bow in the clouds. I have set my bow down. And what if this bow is a weapon, like bow and arrow? I have set my weapon down. I will never again destroy the earth. My path is to redeem, to make new, to create. And so God puts aside the option of destruction forever, because what's been happening since Adam and Eve left the garden in Genesis chapter 3, between 3 and the flood, is that there has been this constant downward spiral, until finally it gets to the point where the folks are described as having corruption in their hearts. Every inclination of the human heart is continually evil. And so what does God do? Does God go to war with this evil and corruption? No. God sorrows over this. God sorrows over that the beauty and goodness of creation was twisted into something it was never meant to be. God sorrows. What if the flood is God's tears? God sorrows over the evil inclination of every heart. God is grieved by the betrayal. It is the pain over the brokenness of creation. And so God sends a flood, not as an act of revenge, but as an act of grief, out of a broken heart. And so we think, well, the flood is justice, right? Justice for the evil, And so we think God is giving us what we deserve. It is about destruction. It is about punishment. It is about war. It is about might. But there is a difference between consequence and justice. The real heart of justice is that everything is made right. Every wrong is made right. And so justice is about setting things back to as they should be, or forward to as they should be. It's about beauty and goodness. It's about creation. And so God is not a God that is utilitarian. Boom, gone. God is not a God who is destructive. God does not wipe the earth clean and walk away. God is about recreation. God is about new birth. These are the waters of grief and tears, but they are also the waters of the womb, the waters of new life. And don't they remind us of the waters of baptism? The waters of baptism, that we are made new and born again. Our God is a God who creates. And so when we see the rainbow and go, Theomai, when we see the window and go, Theomai, we behold and we are in awe of the God who creates, the God who is good, the God who is about beauty and new life. This is a God who is worthy of our worship and our trust and our thanks and our praise. Let us pray. Bless Christ, through whom all things are made. Join seen and unseen in their praise of one who both creates, sustains, who goes before injustice reigns, who makes the lion and the lamb, the farthest star, the smallest hand, dominions, rulers, and their powers, the steadfast mount, the fleeting hours, who made the ore for blood-soaked nails, who made the thorns and whipping tails, who made the sun that would not shine and made the tree on which Christ died, who makes the waters of our birth, who makes the dust where we return, who makes the way for us to die and rise to everlasting life. Bless Christ, through whom all things are made. Join seen and unseen in their praise of one who both creates, sustains, who goes before, injustice reigns. And all God's people said, Amen.